Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's cooking class or session, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to make a vegetable curry in cashew nut sauce. Hopefully, you will have soaked your cashews overnight. I forgot about that. So it's going to be interesting what it's going to be like when you don't soak them overnight. So what we're going to do is, I think...
If somebody did have, because I know you and I were chatting about the fact that you could also swap for coconut milk.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have a can of coconut milk in the cupboard, that may be an alternative if others have forgotten to soak their cashews.
I've never actually tried to make a vegetable curry with cashewnut sauce, so this is a first for me as well.
Cool.
And you are going to witness what it's going to be like, and so let's
go.
This is what cooking is all about. Finding out. It's like a chemistry lab, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And is there anything specific about a cashew nut that is nutritional, that relative to any other nut, relative to, well, frankly, anything?
Cashews are very high in tryptophan, which is a precursor to serotonin, which I mentioned before, which is the happy hormone that bases our mood, which is then in the evening converted to melatonin. So we need tryptophan to make serotonin to make melatonin.
Okay.
So a very good source. So if you snack on cashews, make you happy.
It's good.
Eventually.
You're eating happy cashews.
Happy cashews, yeah. So every nut has got special benefits. Almonds are very high in magnesium, so and also actually high in tryptophan. So I love almonds, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Because my body knows that I need tryptophan, to keep me happy.
Yes.
So our body actually tells us, like when we like something, it's either because we need it, or because we've become addicted to it.
Yes. Absolutely. We just got to know the difference.
Yes, it's knowing the difference. Yeah. Okay. So as usual, we are going to start with some. Actually, we wanted to do the cashews, didn't we? I need to. So it turns into nice milk. So, how are you doing, Richard?
I'm good. I'm cheating. I'm
You're
using
cheating.
coconut milk.
Have a conversation.
Two very different flavors.
Oh, so mine looks really good. Can you see this? So what I did was I took a handful of cashews and a cup of warm water, and I just blended it. Yeah, it looks good. Usable. Might not be enough, so we'll see. I don't think it will actually be enough. I may need to make some more. Right. So that's another experiment. You know how much you need. Just if you think you haven't got enough sauce, just put in more cashews and some more water until you think you've got enough to make a sauce.
Okay.
Looks very smooth to me. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, as usual, is put some ghee or some other frying oil in the pan.
So remind me, Sabine, what ghee is what?
Ghee is clarified butter. So I put some ghee in the frying pan. Ghee is clarified butter, which is very good, high in butyrate, which is what our gut bacteria like, or actually what our gut lining likes to keep it strong. And we're going to roast some spices in it. In the recipe, it suggests some ground turmeric first. Right,
No,
so we're roasting some turmeric. The next one is cumin seeds. It says a half a teaspoon. I just like do this and have a look when I've reached about half a teaspoon. Oop, or a bit more. Cumin is very good for our digestion. And then fennel is very well known, isn't it, for babies when they have a colic, that fennel tea calms them down. So calms any gas and bloating. And curry leaves. Where are my curry leaves? There we are. Also very beneficial. It says 4 curry leaves, but they vary in size, so I would say just go with your intuition. Okay, so this is all going to be roasted a bit. You actually see what I'm doing? Not really. So.
No, not quite. Okay, cool. Now I can. Yep.
Okay. I've got like 4.5 leaves in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fresh ginger, my favorite for all its beneficial properties. As I said before, I use ginger in everything I cook, even my breakfast.
And remind me, ginger, the benefits.
Well, the main ones are antimicrobial,
That's
anti-inflammatory, so it fights inflammation in the whole body. And it's very, very good for our digestive system. It just warms it up and makes it so much easier to digest our food. Because we need, when we eat cold things, we need energy to digest things. So this warms everything up. Also the meal that we have ingested. So it just costs us less energy to digest our food. When we have, we add something like that.
Yeah.
It also helps with the muscle contractions, you know, in our intestines that keep the food along. So it's the elimination of the waste products. Right. So I usually chop it up in small pieces, but you can also grate it. Oh, so nearly cut off my nail.
That won't be good. That will not add any flavour to the curry.
No, not really. Might add some calcium, but
yeah.
Okay, so frying the ginger with the rest of the spices and then some garlic. I have 2 cloves of garlic here, which I'm going to put in. But again, that depends on your, preference. If you don't like garlic, some people actually can't have garlic. I think I mentioned it before. Some people can be allergic to garlic because there's a tiny bit of protein in it. And there's also another pathway that can be interrupted. And what I remember is that normally it should go like this. And when people are like very sensitive to garlic and onions, there's a kink there. So a sort of other response and processing of garlic and onion. And it's to do with the sulfur in them. So it's quite interesting. What can go wrong or be blocked in our body. I'm putting the garlic in now. Fry with the rest. And I can already smell the aroma. of everything, in particular the garlic now.
I bet.
Very nice yellowy mixture.
Oh wow, it's amazing.
Okay, and then some chili. I've got this tiny one. Again, some people have to be careful with chili because they have a fiery nature anyway, so they should really avoid chilies because it just makes them their body even hotter than it already is, and their digestive system. My husband was one of them. He should really have avoided chilies, but he loved them because he grew up with it. So.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay.
And especially in the summer, you know, like in the winter, I think it's okay because the winter cold balances the heat of the chili. But in the summer, when it's hot anyway, you know, it can be a bit too much.
Yeah.
So be careful not to put any seeds in the curry, because if you bite on them, you're going to have a very
yes,
unpleasant,
a little hot.
Yeah, unpleasant reaction to it. Right. And then the next thing is coriander, thyme, and coriander. Some ground coriander. It says here a half teaspoon.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I think I've only got half a spoon. Left anyway. Right. If it's a little bit more, that doesn't matter really. Coriander again is very, very beneficial. Again, for our digestion, one of these herbs and spices that helps, but also high in vitamin C. Like the coriander leaves we're going to use as well, and antibacterial again, and of course anti-inflammatory. I think all these herbs and spices are basically anti-inflammatory because we need to keep the inflammation down in our body, and inflammation is caused by anything that irritates our digestive system, and it can be, you know, food that gets stuck in our digestive system because we cannot digest it properly, or we don't have enough stomach acid or digestive enzymes or bile, or we don't drink enough to make all these three things, or other factors that can just like interfere.
For sure.
Coffee, for example.
And the difference between fresh and dried, is there any nutritional difference between fresh and dried herbs?
I think the benefits...
You have to come back to me on a postcard with that one.
Yeah. I think that there's always a difference between fresh and dry, but both fresh and dry are actually beneficial. Generally, both of them are good for our digestive system. And also what coriander does is it binds toxins. So it gets toxins with our digestive tract. And we always have toxins in our digestive tract.
Yeah.
So, thyme. I've got some fresh thyme, but you can also use dried one. So I just happen to have fresh one and I want to use it up. So okay, so I'm going to use a few pinches of fresh thyme. And now it's time to add some liquid to the whole mixture before it burns. Okay. Nice. So I'm going to add all of it. Okay. So I don't know whether you can see it.
Yeah, that looks great.
Right, and then we need to just add some vegetables. The first one I would add is the sweet potato because it takes longest. And you can also use some pumpkin instead. The original recipe mentioned taro roots, but I've never heard of taro roots before. And I've never seen it in a supermarket. It might be something you can get in an Asian shop. But again, the taro root seems to add to the creamy texture of the curry. Okay.
I can't say I'd heard of taro until I actually typed it.
Have you ever found it?
Into the recipe card. So I've never, to be honest, I've never even heard of it. So I have just Googled it as we are chatting, and it is apparently a tropical plant grown primarily in Hawaii. So, so there we go. Not that wasn't quite the country I was expecting it to be predominantly grown in, but there we go.
No. But that would make sense because the book I've got this recipe from was written by an American Ayurvedic practitioner, so it would make sense that she would know about it.
Okay. Yes, that would make sense, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm cutting it into small cubes.
The health problems.
I used a small sweet potato, not a big one. Right, and I'm going to cover it up now because otherwise we are losing too much liquid and nothing is going to heat up properly and cook. And then the carrot, I haven't got green beans, but that doesn't matter because I'm only making it for one person anyway, so I have to cut down on the ingredients a bit. The other thing the recipe doesn't mention is onion. I would always also add an onion, but now we've already progressed so far, I'm going to leave it out for once. So it mentions carrot in the recipe. I've got a very big and a large one, so I'm going to only use half of it because otherwise I'll have too much. And again, small pieces, add them to the mix, which is now getting very orangey, yellowy, green. I don't know whether you can see it.
Smelling nice.
Yeah.
In there.
Oh, it smells delicious. And the last thing I want to add is some cauliflower. But again, not the whole thing, you know, it's just going to be too much. So
and I'm guessing you can pretty much put any vegetable you want into
yeah.
it.
You can also add some chickpeas to get some protein in there.
Yeah.
Some chicken, of course, some fish. It's so versatile again, this recipe.
Yeah.
I'm also going to leave out the spinach because it is just getting too much. But if you want to add some spinach, yeah. But the spinach needs to be added very much towards the end, like the last 5 minutes, because it's very quick. And some people can have problems with spinach. It's very high in something called oxalic acid. Some people have got But it's a problem with raw spinach more than with cooked spinach, because when you cook spinach, you reduce or even completely destroy this oxalic acid. When we have too much of it, it can cause kidney stones, and some people are just predisposed to kidney stones.
Yeah, myself included.
So I would recommend always cooking spinach. But then there's the other problem with spinach. Some people, as I've mentioned last time, have a histamine problem. And spinach is one of these histamine-raising foods. So if you have any like hay fever, maybe migraines that could be related to a histamine problem, even IBS. I had a client and she had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and I looked into, you know, her whole history, and it turned out that she completed a food diary with symptoms as well, and she had the most pain the day before. She had a lot of foods that was just contributing to a high histamine level.
Wow.
So yeah, unfortunately, she believed me. So she just couldn't stay away from dairy, she said, because she was raised in you know, in a country where they are very big on drinking a lot of milk and having a lot of dairy because of the calcium and this myth you have to have dairy in order to have healthy levels of calcium, which is a myth. There's a lot of calcium in green leafy veg and nuts and other.
Absolutely.
If you eat a wide variety of food, you get calcium from different you know, things that you eat. And even like fortified, all these substitute milks, almond milk, cashewnut milk, not this one because I didn't fortify it with calcium, but the ones that you buy in the shop are fortified with calcium. So
for sure.
God. And so we only need to add a little bit of pepper now and some salt. And I would garnish mine with some coriander.
Yeah.
Right. Stir it again. Oop, I'm losing some cauliflower. And some fresh coriander. I would add the fresh coriander either in the last few minutes or just sprinkle it on top, you know, when everything's ready. So I'm not going to put it in right now. So everything now just needs to cook properly for about, it says 20 minutes, so we've already been talking for about 5 minutes. I probably need another 15 minutes. So if you find that everything is a bit too thick or burning at the bottom, just add a little bit more water or some coconut milk or whatever you've been using.
Cool. Fabulous. I look forward to the comments about what it tasted like later, Sabina, and some pictures.
As this is the first time I've made cashewnut sauce myself, it's going to be interesting what it tastes like.
Well, I look forward to hearing about it. So cool, fabulous.
I can't wait to because it looks really lovely. I mean, let's have.
Are you going to serve it with rice or something, or are you just going to have it like that?
Oh yeah, we could have a little chat about that, because my husband once came home from a detox retreat with a lovely rice recipe, and it was saffron rice with a few spices. And the spices were cloves, cinnamon stick, cardamom pods, and some bay leaf. And what you do is you need twice as much water as rice. I'm going to look into his notes now. So it says soak saffron for a minimum of 30 minutes. So saffron is these little thingies.
Yeah.
But you can also just soak them for 10 minutes. It's fine. And saffron is a very something very good for your blood. So it purifies the blood. And because he had leukemia, we loved using that. And then put in some cinnamon bark, some cardamom seeds, whole cloves, and bay leaves in ghee. So you take a tablespoon maximum of ghee, and you put all these spices in it, and then you add the washed rice and the saffron water, and then twice as much water as rice.
Yeah.
And then you just simmer everything between simmer and boil. Yeah, it says here it is between simmer and boiling of the water. So you have to have a look at what how high you want to put up your gas.
Yeah.
So it's not just the simmer, it's not the boil, it's in between. It says also do not fork or move the rice, and put on a lid.
Yeah.
And steam with the lid to dry afterwards. So just something to experiment with as well, you know. Rice is one of the things that you have to really learn to do with the amounts of rice and things and water. But every time I've made that, I'm really crap with making normal rice, but with that one, I'm actually getting it right normally. My husband was really the rice expert.
Sounds amazing.
He always made the rice, so that's why I'm crap with rice. So, and unfortunately, the art of making rice has been lost with him, in this household at least, because his way of doing rice was completely different to anybody else's. And that was just family tradition passed on to him. So.
Oh wow. No, amazing. Well, that recipe of his sounds like awesome.
So saffron rice tastes really great. You know, of course, don't bite into the cardamom seeds afterwards. Just removed.
Of course.
They add a different flavor to it. And again, they help with your digestion, and cloves are antimicrobial again. So. Yeah, and cinnamon helps with blood sugar. As you get all the sorts of benefits you need by adding these as well. Yeah, so a really varied meal, I would say, if you add.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
fabulous.
So
I look forward to seeing the finished article.
Yeah, it's getting there. I think maybe 5 more minutes. So yeah,
cool. Fabulous.
Richard, how's yours coming along?
I'm probably about 5 minutes ahead of you on the boiling time or simmering time. It's smelling very good, I have to say.
Good.
I'll give you a little view of mine. It's a little bit more watery than yours. But I'll just take the camera over to it. There we go.
Wow. Yeah, that looks good. I may actually add some more water to mine before it cooks. And
go on.
I just remembered the other thing you can eat this curry with is some piada. In Waitrose, they sell organic piada, which is it contains wheat, but because it's organic, I could always digest it much better than the normal wheat product.
Okay.
So it's a sort of wrap, and you just tear it off, and you just eat it like people would eat a curry in India, without a spoon or fork.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. And you could eat it with some rice, it depends on how hungry you are. So a little bit of rice, a little bit of curry, a little bit of piada. Perfect meal.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and hope, you can report back on how it tasted.
Will do, for sure. Okay.
And enjoy this lovely, gorgeous weather today. I mean, I'm going to sit outside in the garden with mine, definitely.
Absolutely, I agree. Definitely. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for joining me again.
Thank you, Sabine. Thank you very
I'll
much.
see you later.
Bye-bye.